Hey there, fellow chosen undead. Welcome back to playthrough of Dark Souls 1. I am Stubsette Wizard, your host and most. And we're down here by Solaire looking at the beautiful view. At the time of this recording, um, well, first before I get to that, let me say I'm doing this in conjunction with I'm Not Great. He is playing Dark Souls 1 for the first time ever. So go check out his channel. I'm Not Great. We do a lot of things in conjunction with our two channels. He's a good friend from the Free Time Creators Collective. So check him out, and that's what we're doing here. So, what I was going to say at the... Okay, I can get control so I can play some clear obscure. I'm in the U.S., which is not a surprise probably to anybody. And as of this video, we've had some pretty awful things transpire in our country, i.e. an assassination, and just various, I don't know, I guess, fallout or whatever you want to say from that. And I really don't want to cover too much politically on this channel. It's not, and we all have opinions about things, and as I've said before, you know, opinions opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one. They generally stink. Um, but I have had some subscribers ask me to comment, and I will. I will comment a little bit, like maybe from a 30,000 foot view, not get too political about it. So the first thing, when you find common ground, I think we can probably come to agreement on common ground that murder is bad. I mean, let's start there, I guess. You know, and I've said this in other videos. What I'm going to say next, before any of this took place, that there's many in the United States that don't understand free speech. The point of free speech, what's guaranteed, is that you are free from the government um, prosecuting you or using its power to have you not say things. It doesn't mean you're free from consequences. So all these people came out and said awful things. They exercise their free speech, and it's okay. Even if it's nasty, that's okay. That's what free speech is for. They're not in jail, but they complain they lost their job, and they're like, my free speech has been abrogated. Like, no, it hasn't. You're not in jail. You're okay from that standpoint. But an employer can fire you for things that will lose the money, right? So, for instance, if I at my business, if one of my staff told a client to FO, you know, or you know, call him an idiot or whatever they call him, you know, and I may well fire him. Why? Because he cost me a client, and I can't trust him with other clients and this and that. That's a business decision. Now he could run and say, well, my free speech has been trampled on because I should be allowed to say FO to people. And my company, well, you did. You said it, and you're not in jail. But as a business, I can also say that violated policy. So we're going to see. So that's problem one, is we've sort of lost sight of that the free speech means freedom from consequences. And so that leads to my next part of this 30,000 foot view, is we have to take responsibility for our speech. So I am, you know, I don't really want to get too political or anything, but I think it's important I'll let you know my standings. If I had to be classified, I would be what would be called a Jeffersonian liberal or classical liberal. I don't particularly care for the Democrats or Republicans particularly. I mean, people would probably describe me as a conservative, but I would be conservative in the sense of actually conserving, like the Constitution and those principles, not necessarily that I march in lockstep with what, quote, conservative people think. It's actually about being sort of a conservationist, if you will. So, um, so when I'm looking at it, like this young man that shot Charlie Kirk, I don't think that like a left wing organization sent him or anything like that, but we have a real problem with mental health in our country. And one of the issues we've had is that we've closed down a lot of the institutions that could give people help. Let me give an example. I had we had a FedEx shooting out here in Indianapolis. At the FedEx office, a guy shot up some people. One of my best friend's daughters was killed in that. And we looked at the evidence of this guy. Um, I mean, you can't say it was left or right leaning or anything like that. What it was he thought, um, I think it's called a brony. I don't know basically he loved My Little Pony. He was like, well, if this My Little Pony is not the afterlife, then I don't even want to live. And then he decided he wanted to take a bunch of people with him, I suppose, one of which was my friend's daughter. And people and his daughter, my children grew up with and all that, so great friends of the family. Anyway, but the thing is the police had identified him, and he'd had a shotgun and all this stuff he shouldn't have to have, but there's no place to put him. So now he ended up killing himself, but if they could have put him somewhere to help, probably he could have been treated and come out after, I don't know how long it would take, a year, I don't know how long it takes, but probably realize, hey, thinking that My Little Pony is real or is the afterlife or that's deranged. And so and so he did not get the help he needed. He shot up the place, killed several people, killed himself, and if he would have gotten some mental health help, that may have all been avoided. So that's problem one, is we're not really addressing the mental health aspect. And so this guy on the September 10th there, yeah, I'm not saying a left-leaning organization sent him out there, or anything like that. It wasn't like a mobilization and all this stuff. I mean, there's planning involved, but I think he did it. But here's the thing. I see from the left, there's this sort of name calling where, hey, it's Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. And you look at, well, what happens if someone's Hitler? You look at him and you say, well, okay, did he kill 6 million Jews? Is it all these things he did? People say, well, it was fascism, we're in a fascist state. Well, we're not really. If you're in a fascist state, you wouldn't be able to criticize the state for being fascist if you think about it, right? So now the thing is you have the free speech to say that, talk about fascism, Hitler, and whatever, but you also have to look at the responsibility that because of our mental health problem in our society, you are going to get fringe people they're going to believe it, and now it's just getting worse. So now after this, I've seen people on the right, they're calling for, now this is not widespread yet, but I've seen it in a couple places. They're calling for legal violence. Well, what does that mean? And I think what their thought is, hey, so when you get accosted, you're having your free speech, and somebody comes up and assaults you, like knocks your hat off or punches you in the face or whatever, you take him down. You don't turn the other cheek anymore, that sort of thing. Okay, and you're allowed to say that, but you also got to think there are going to be people that need mental health help, that are right-leaning, that are going to take that as a call, like, oh, I need to perpetrate violence and then justify it by saying it was legal. And that's not good. That's not a good place to be. So, and then I noticed again on the left here in response to that, some gubernatorial candidate I saw, she said, and she's talking to the Democrats, or whatever this rally was. She's like, let your rage fuel you. You have to let your rage fuel you. Now, she's not an evil person or anything. What she's saying, and I understand this, because, I mean, if I have any mental health issues, they don't manifest by going off the deep end. But what she's saying is, hey, this rage against Trump or whoever you're mad at, let that fuel you to go out and knock on more doors and spread the word of the Democrat message and all that stuff. And that's all fine, but you are going to get people that have mental health issues that are going to hear that and then use that as an excuse. And so, all this to say, from the 30,000 foot view, is we just got to tone down the rhetoric. Just have disagreements and say, yeah, I disagree with you, and I think your views are really awful. Let's talk about it or whatever. And we just don't do that. A lot of times we don't do that anymore. But I'd say probably 90% of people still try that. But you get, like I said, we have some of the mental health issues, and people want to belong. And one of the worst things you can do with humanity, I think, is label them. So you can put into categories, and then, well, this category you can't associate with or do this, so this is evil and all this stuff. And the problem is you look at either way, you're going to be addressing half the nation as evil. Either way, right or left, if you say the other side's evil, then half the nation's evil, right? And it's better, in my opinion, to say, hey, I disagree with you on this point. Let's talk about it. And it's just a disagreement. And we sort of lost that. I thought Pete Buttigieg actually had a very good comment on this. Kamala Harris wrote a book that I don't even know if it's out yet, but it's all over the news about stuff. Basically, she's throwing everybody under the bus. I don't know what her deal is. I guess it's to make money, so that's fine. But one thing she said was that she didn't really want Tim Walz as a vice president. She wanted Pete Buttigieg. But she said that because she's black and Pete Buttigieg is gay, that was too much for the American people. Well, first of all, it's insulting the American people. Like, nobody really cares that much who you sleep with, really. That's nobody's business, particularly. And but Pete Buttigieg, I thought, had a good answer, and he said, look, the American people are more interested in what you can do for them and what your policies will mean to them and how that's going to help financially or hurt them or whatever. That's what they're interested in, is how are you going to make it better for them, rather than categories. And I thought that was spot on. And so what happens is we put people in the categories and oh, you're a Trump supporter, so therefore you're this, that, and the other. Oh, you like Biden, so therefore you're this, that, or the other. It's not. That's too simple. That's too demeaning of humanity. It's people. And so you look at when Bill Clinton got impeached. When it came out, he may have had some weird influence peddling with the Whitewater real estate deals. I was that should be investigated, because that'd be pretty bad if he's using that to for power and all this stuff. And it came out that there was nothing to it. Evidently, there's no wrongdoing. Or okay, fine, moving on. Well, that wasn't good enough for the Republicans. The Republicans impeached him, and then you realize he's being impeached because he had extramarital relations or whatever in the Oval Office, whatever all went on, and then he lied about it under oath. Well, why do you question him about what he did sexually when you told the American people, we're looking at this real estate deal that looks corrupt? We found out it wasn't, so then we're going to go ahead and find stuff that we can beat him politically on. And that cost the Republicans for quite a while, because it's like, I don't want to hear anything you guys have to say, you know. And we got to get out of that. We got to get into, like, what are the ideas, you know, we can talk about. And when, you know, people would say Charlie Kirk's full hate, I never really followed Charlie Kirk. I'd heard of him, and I don't agree with everything he says. But when I look at videos of him speaking, like on the campus, because it's everywhere now in all the feeds, I'm like, well, he's actually having, at these college campuses, he's having people, like, he just gives the mic. He says, the people that disagree with me go right to the front, and then we're going to talk about it. He talked about it, and he was really good at it. Now, I'm sure they also edited it so he looks better too. You know, I don't know what all went on, but it wasn't hateful at all. I mean, he says, you know, like, for instance, he doesn't agree with gay marriage. Well, that's a position, and he let people talk to him about it. You know, and, like, I don't see where that was hateful. He just had a position that, you know, is probably not popular with you know, most people, I guess. But that's okay. We all have different opinions, and what we got to do is we got to maintain the ability to talk about it. And so I guess just to finish this up with this soliloquy, then I'm not going to talk about it anymore in my videos, because I don't want this to be a political channel. We just need cooler heads to prevail and say, look, you got to dial back the rhetoric. I mean, you can say it's both sides, but when I look at what the right's saying, they're name calling stuff like, well, they're fat, they're ugly, their face looks like a horse, they're an idiot, that sort of thing, which, that's not nice, it's not great. But then, you know, on the left, I feel like people are saying, well, they're Hitler and they're Nazis and all this stuff. And it, like I said, you get the fringe people that are not going to understand that that's hyperbole or whatever, and then they're gonna take it as, look, I did a good job, I killed Hitler, you know. And so just dial down the rhetoric. And actually, some on the right are now starting to make violent claims, like I said, like legalize violence, like, you know, okay, you're going to get fringe people, they're going to take that as a license, so you're allowed to say it, but you also need to take responsibility for the effects of your speech. And just some self-examination, you know? I've had to do that as well, you know? I mean, the Queen has mentioned some things to me that I was wrong about. And so rather than rail against it and try to be right, I was like, yeah, I was wrong or misunderstood this, and that's what dialogue does. You just talk to each other, have a dialogue. And okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. And we are going to run over here. So I'm gonna go down here, and I am going to fight Havel. Let's see. I'm going to show you my method. There's a few methods. He can be a pretty tough opponent, and now, unlike I'm not great. I have played this game many times, but I haven't played in years, so I will probably mess up here. I take that off too. So this is how I fight Toreg. Look at that. That is largely unattractive to me. To each their own. But so the idea here that I have is that Havel if he hits you, you're probably going to die anyway, so your armor's not going to help. I think I might be able to take 2 hits. If you look at my stats, because of my vitality being at 14, I might be able. No, I can't take 2. I can maybe take 1 hit, and then the second hit will kill me. So what I do is I get naked. Well, made the character naked in the game, not in real life. And then so I use my dodging. I let him commit to a swing, then get behind him and do a back stab, back critical. It's not like stab with the club. And so this is a pure strength build. One of the things I'm not great and I did was we randomized the character creation process. It's kind of fun. So this is how it turned out. So I'm gonna go, and what I want to do is what you do is you lure him up to here and fight him up here. If you need to heal, you just drop down the stairs, heal, and then run away, and get him to drop, and then run back up. But you want to fight him up here, or the level above him, because if he kills you, then you can come back and get your souls back. Alright, so let's give this a try. Oh wait, we got one more level to go. Okay, so this is where we want to lure him up here to fight. Yeah, that is a tough enemy. There's other ways to do it. You can do it full armor. If you get a shield that blocks 100%, you can get through it. Now, you better have a whole bunch of stamina if you do that, because he will drain your stamina in about 1 hit. Or maybe 2. There's also people that have talked about luring him up to be fought by other people. Also, if you have a smaller weapon, you can get on the other side of the door, like from the Darkroot Basin, and hit him. Basically, he won't come out the door. Okay. Enough putting it off. Let's go face the music here. Oh, here it comes. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to jump. Try to get him to commit to... Oh, shoot, I messed up already. There we go. You got to be careful because his hit tracks very well. Alright, we'll get him close. Come at me, bro. Oh, he's going into turtle mode. Oh, shoot, I missed it. No, mother! Oh, my God. Oh! Man, I thought I had it. Anyway, that's the idea behind it. So, now that I'm talking about the... Oh, I gotta make it all the way. That Drake will come back. I'm gonna go naked. I'm about to get... Alright. I gotta get through. Woo! Made it. Alright, and so I did not remember about this door here. So when I come back, I'm going to go through the door to the basement. Actually, I die a lot there too, like in the depths, if I'm remembering correctly, because you have dogs that attack you down there. I'm just gonna let those guys live. You have dogs that attack you, and those thieves. Go get this guy. The thieves will bleed you. Alright, here is Havel Part 2. Havel the Rock. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was just greedy. I thought I could maybe take it out with heavy. Could got away in time. Alright, this. I'm gonna keep getting less and less flasks. I'm not sure what makes the Drake appear, because he didn't appear that time. Alright, so while I go to work on Havel, by the way, I showed a good example of what happens when you deviate from your plan in Dark Souls. You think, I can just go up and hit him, and I'll get him. And then, he one-shots you. I'm thinking about putting my shield on. Can't believe that guy hit me. But I was thinking about putting my shield on so I could parry him. So anyway, that's what happens in Dark Souls or Souls-like. You get like, hey, I about got him. He's about dead, or maybe I can get a shot in while he's stunned. You depart from your plan, and then that's it for you. So don't do that. Okay, so while I'm trying to kill Havel, let me talk to you about the Free Time Creators Collective. And I will probably die because I'm talking. I just dived twice on accident. Why is it making me dive twice? This is how you have to drink. Let him drop behind you. Yeah, I didn't get much talking done about the Free Time Creators Collective today. Come on, Havel. Now the problem you have is that his his hit has an insane amount of last second tracking. So you gotta be careful. That should get him. Alright. Havel is down. Havel's ring. And then this will go to the deep root basin. Do I want to mess with anything here? Let's go do this area now. I think I'll wait till later. Alright, so Free Time Creators Collective. We are a group of content creators that that's actually better than the soldier helm. Anyway, we're a group of content creators that create content on YouTube and various places for gaming. So, like this, and it's just a community where you can go, be positive, and be encouraged. And that's what we're all about. Is we're all smaller channels What's nice about it is we will answer all comments eventually, and we will. You also receive very much in the way of ads because they're all smaller channels. The other thing to cover is. Oh, I better kill these guys up here. Go out to Discord and look up the Free Time Creators Collective. You'll find us there. And when I get a chance, I will put a link in the description to the Free Time Creators Collective. So you can click on it, and you'll meet luminaries out there such as I'm Not Great, who I already mentioned, who's a good friend, good inspiration for the run. We're doing Dark Souls 1. We just did a Bloodborne 10th anniversary playthrough. That was a hoot. We did Claire Obscure together. We're doing some Dark Souls 3. We'll probably do Dark Souls 2. Although if he wants to stop that halfway, I'm okay with it. He won't. He's a good sport about stuff like that, like playing it out. Well, I'll tell you what. We both played Neo, and we both it's NIOH. We both quit that very early on. I think he made it through the tutorial. I didn't even get out of the first tower. Like, this is not going to be fun. And it wasn't, so there. But you'll meet other people out there. There's Plumberry Delicious. You'll meet Mindless Meat, K-Dog's Kennel, Iris and Ophrus, Holly's Adventures. All great people. Come out and join us. Just be nice. That's our only rule. And we look forward to hearing from you. And as this video, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe to the channel if you would. Give me some comments. I'll answer all of them. And also, don't worry. The way I started this video, that's about as political as this channel will ever get. And that's extremely rare to kind of have that discussion on this channel. But it was also a pretty rare event that it happened. Anyway, yeah, like, subscribe, give me some comments, and I appreciate you watching. As long as you keep watching, I'll keep making them. Thanks.